Hey guys, what's going on? RetroGamer here, and welcome back to another review featuring the Sega Saturn. So, the Sega Saturn released in 1994 in Japan and 1995 in North America. The Sega Saturn hit the shelves. Now, in 1994 in Japan, the Sega Saturn was released and marketed at 448,000 yen, which in American dollars is like 430, 435. I'll put the exact number on screen, but that's about the price as it was in the market. And that was pretty heavy, considering that the Sega Saturn was released with no game included. But when the Sega Saturn was released in Japan, they also released, alongside with it, Virtua Fighter, so that sold on a 1-to-1 ratio. Now in North America, on the other hand, in 1995, they released the Sega Saturn of May in 95. They were going to release it in September, but to get ahead of the PlayStation, they released it in May. And they bundled it with Virtua Fighter, and it was released at $400. So that was a pretty good price in the market, although PlayStation was releasing their PlayStation 1 at $300, so that was kind of risky, but they did it, and it sold quite a bit of units. I don't want to say that the Sega Saturn was a failure, but it didn't sell as well as the Nintendo 64 and Sony PlayStation. When the PlayStation was released, sales did drop as to be expected when consoles, new consoles release, but it did pretty dang well. Now, with all that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the features. So here's the power switch, reset button, the eject button where you put your games, and the RAM adapter back here. Now, a lot of people thought, oh, this is going to be backwards compatible with my Sega Genesis games. No, it's actually just to add RAM and extra memory. And here are the two connectors for your controllers. The size, not really much, just standard white. It's more of a grayish white, but back here, there's a little flap here, and if you open it up, you see that there's a little watch battery, and that was to save the date and time in your games as well. And you had to replace these every 1 to 2 years, so if you didn't want your games to suddenly be gone one day, you could add the RAM adapter for more memory. This is where you plug in your wall power, your your AV, and that's AC, and then this is the communication port. And you could link two Saturns together to play games, much like with the GameCube, you could link two of them together. Other than that, there's not really much. Up here, there's a little window to see the disc spin and Sega Saturn here. This is actually the Model 2. This is the Japanese Sega Saturn. And the Model 1 for North America and the Japanese market had oval buttons for the Model 1. And the Model 2 has circle buttons. So, not really much different as in terms of there. So here's the controller. This is the Model 2 controller. It was a Model 1 and Model 2. This is the Model 2 Japanese. Has your standard D-pad, ABC, XYZ, start button, and here are the L and R triggers. They're kind of weird. They don't press down like you would think. They're just kind of clicky. They don't feel the greatest, but I do actually enjoy them now. Like, it's not terribly hard to use. They're not too bad. They also had a 3D controller, which added a analog stick, and it kind of looked like a spaceship. It was kind of interesting. But I wanted to go over the connections real quick. This is the two-prong adapter. This is a 5 amp by 125 volt. And then here is the standard AV. And here's the connection. It has like 3 little teeth. So just be aware if you just get the console itself, you're going to have its special connections, just like pretty much any console. And then the Sega Saturn had so many good games. My goodness. It had a really, really good library. So in America, it only had like 258 titles, and that's kind of small, but the Japanese market, it had over 1,200 titles. I'll put the exact number on screen, but it had over 1,200 games. So this comes to another point I want to make, and it's getting an Action Replay 3-in-1. I'll link the exact one in the description, but when you get this certain Action Replay, it unlocks your Sega Saturn to play region-free. So it'll play American games, Japanese games, any games you want from any region. So that's one of the reasons why, or the main reason why you should get that adapter, so that you can make your Sega Saturn region-free, because there are so many good games in America and in Japan. Japan imports are really fun on the Sega Saturn. But here are some notable games. Sega Rally 95, there's Virtua Fighter 1 and 2, Daytona USA, Virtua Cop 1 and 2, Puzzle Bobble 2X, there was Sonic Jam, Sonic R, Nights into Dreams, the Street Fighter series, the King of Fighters series, Resident Evil. There were so many good games on the Sega Saturn. I wish it would have had a bigger impact on the gaming market, because it had such good games. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest system, but it had really good graphics for its time. It was really similar to the PlayStation. I wouldn't say that it's as good as the Dreamcast. I absolutely love my Dreamcast. But if you're looking in the market to get a Sega Saturn, I would highly recommend it. Just make sure you get that action replay so that you can import games and have a blast with your Sega Saturn. So guys, RetroGamer, if you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys back here with another review. See you guys then.